Live from everywhere USA, it's Fox Across America with Jimmy Failla.
Oh, yes, it sure is. And we are coming to you live from the greatest country in the world, broadcasting from the tippy top of the world-famous Fox News headquarters in New York City. It is Fox Across America with Jimmy Failla, fired up for an embarrassment of radio riches in this hour. Emily Campagna will be here a little later on. She is the co-host of Outnumbered and a fan favorite here on the show. But joining us to kick off the hour at the tippy top, you talk about a banner guest, if ever there was one on this program. She's a superstar candidate for the Republican nomination for president, and she's a bit of a throwback in today's politics in that she supports Israel, come hell or high water. Man, I miss that sentiment. But here she is, former South Carolina governor and UN ambassador, Nikki Haley, back on the show. Hello, Nikki Haley.
Jimmy, it's good to be back with you again.
I will. It's like Throwback Thursday. We have someone who supports Israel, like the old days. We like it.
You know, it's the right way to be. And I'll tell you, with everything that's going on, America's got to get this right. There's no getting weak on this one. We've got to get this right.
I'll say, every time I get you on the phone, I'm always hoping for like one mellow news cycle where we can joke and you can make fun of my outfits or we can talk about your playlists. But every time you call in, the world gets a little crazier. Are you sure you want this gig?
You know, the world is on fire right now, and that's exactly why I want it. I mean, you've got war that's broken out in Europe. You've got a war now in the Middle East. You've got China getting more aggressive on Taiwan. And, you know, make no mistake, none of this would have happened if Joe Biden wouldn't have been so weak in Afghanistan, if he wouldn't have been so slow in Ukraine, if he wouldn't have been pandering to Iran, and if he wasn't completely absent on the border. And all of our enemies have taken notice, and they're all acting because of it. And we really have to get this right. And you don't get this right by picking one or the other. You get this right by being strong across the board so that everybody knows what we expect of them instead of us being reactionary to every other threat in the world.
Yeah, it's really sad to watch this play out the way it has. So Israel, and this is a very recent development, they're calling on the UN Secretary General to resign because he just made a comment moments earlier that, you know, what's going on isn't happening in a vacuum and that Israel has some culpability in these developments in Gaza. Do you see any world where we can align ourselves with those sentiments as a country?
You know, this is the UN doing what the UN always does. And keep in mind, the rest of the world's going to do this, too. I have strongly said to Israel that they need to finish them, meaning Hamas. Mm-hmm. But I also said to the world, and we need to remember this, is that we all support Israel because they were hit. Mm-hmm. But we have to remember, we also have to support them when they hit back. Mm-hmm. And you're going to see when Israel starts to make moves, everybody's going to condemn them. But what they need to remember is, if this had happened to America, would we not be doing the same thing? Would we not want to eliminate those that tortured, you know, our people? Would we not want to do that for those that have taken hostages? And so the UN has always vilified Israel. Yeah. But at the end of the day, Israel's a bright spot in a tough neighborhood. And we've got to be true and honest to what's right. And Israel is right to want to go and eliminate a terrorist group that has threatened them for years. This didn't just happen on October 7th. This has been ongoing. But everybody's constantly told Israel to show restraint. Well, after the brutality and the torture and the bloodshed, I don't think they need to show them restraint. I think they need to eliminate Hamas.
Yeah, no, I actually agree with you. We're talking with Nikki Haley, GOP, running for president right now. And I got to be honest, Nikki Haley, a little bit of a surge happening as I look at the polls. Who do we credit this to? Is it all you or is it all Cheney?
You know, I mean, I think it's happening. Well, Cheney's great, but I think it's all happening because basically you look at the fact the world is on fire and people know that, one, they need someone who's got executive experience that's dealt with bureaucracy, but two, we need someone that's had foreign policy experience. I negotiated and literally dealt with Russia, China, Iran, Israel, the Palestinians, you name it, every day, Jimmy, not twice a year. Every day I was dealing with them for 2 years. And I know how they act. I know what they do. I know the role that the Qataris play in this. I know the role that Turkey plays in this. We have to start really focusing on those that matter. When it comes to Israel, we've got three priorities. Number one, support Israel with whatever they need, whenever they need it. Two, eliminate Hamas. And three, do whatever it takes to get our hostages home. And we need to make sure we understand that this is an unholy alliance. China and Russia had named themselves unlimited partners. Iran is their junior partner. China's getting all of their oil from Iran. That's why billions of dollars is flowing that way, because Biden loosened the sanctions on Iran. Russia's getting drones and missiles from Iran. And Russia's foreign minister was speaking with the Iranian president today. This is an unholy alliance that has one thing in common. They all want to destroy the West, and they all hate America. We have to start being smart. We can't play naive in this, and we can't think it's all going to go away. We have to start really getting focused on this, and that means taking on China, taking on Russia, taking on Iran. Doesn't mean you have to get into wars with all of them. It means you do it with strength, and when you act with strength, the others start to cower. They just don't see strength coming from America right now.
Yeah, I think it's hard to look at this administration as the team nobody wants to play. Are you surprised on some level that we aren't having a larger conversation around the southern border, given what we know about people trying to get here from other parts of the world?
Over 1,000 people have come from Yemen, Lebanon, and Iran. That doesn't count Afghanistan and other countries. And, you know, Biden's totally been absent on the border. But what worries me, Jimmy, is America's acting right now like it's September 10th.
Yeah.
And we better start remembering what September 12th felt like. Because on September 12th, what happened? We realized we weren't doing everything to keep ourselves safe. We realized that we couldn't be so arrogant to think we didn't need friends, because we needed a lot of friends after that.
Yep.
And we've got to start going back to that feeling, understanding that it can't be America and America alone. We have to start securing the border. The terrorists know the easiest way to get to us is through the southern border. That doesn't count what's happening on the northern border, which we have, 200,000 illegal immigrants that have come through there. You look at all the deaths from fentanyl, it's time to wake up. Biden and Yellen can say all day long that, China is a competitor. I can tell you, after dealing with China and Russia, they don't see us as competitors. They see us as enemies. We've got to start looking at them the way the way they look at us. And then when you look at these terrorist activities, understand there would be no Hamas without Iran. And Iran has had their fingers in this the entire time. And we need to see that, regardless of what Biden says about him not thinking they were involved.
Yes to all of that. Nikki Haley is on the line. She's former United States ambassador to the United Nations. She's the governor of South Carolina. She is, I got to be honest, we've been talking about polling. We've got a lot happening across the country in Iowa, New Hampshire, and everywhere else. And then we have another debate coming up, Nikki Haley. Now, my listener response to your debate performance right now has been overwhelmingly positive. And I do mean that. Like, we have a lot of talks about you because you've kind of become a bit of a figure on the show. I want to just ask you, these are very basic human questions, and I say this as a comic who will go on stage in front of thousands of people. When you're no, for real, it's amazing. When you're on stage, okay, facing the live ammo of a presidential debate, you've got moderators, you've got other candidates. What is your headspace? Is that relaxing, or is that like, are you in like attack mode? Like, what are you as an artist? I'm just talking to you now as a performer, I guess, because when I do stand up, I'm like asleep at the wheel because you've got to be there to have fun. But whereas you're there dealing with, as you said, the world is on fire. So where are we at? Is there a fight song you listen to? Are you shadow boxing? Are you mellow? Are you drinking tequila? What happens at Team Haley?
Literally the day of the debate, the night before the debate, I will watch something competitive. So The night before the first debate, I watched Swamp Kings and how, Florida won the national championship. The night before the second debate, I think I watched how Bruce Jenner won the decathlon. Wow. And usually the day of the debate, I'm listening to my playlist. That's all I do all day is listen to my music, and all the way up until the time I go on stage. So usually it's like I Love Rock and Roll by Joan Jett, or, it's just some fun, You
don't listen to like Clowns to the Left of Me, Jokers to the Right? Because that's a good song for Washington, no?
No, I listen to a lot of just good hype music, and so that's the headspace that I go into, and and you just kind of let the chips fall where they may. It's a lot of gut and instinct, and and just trying to let the American people know what we're about, and I usually just let the chips fall where they may. Well,
I have to tell you, we've enjoyed watching the chips fall. I'm worried that you're becoming too good of friends with Vivek Ramaswamy.
Look, I'll stop saying negative things when he stops saying stupid stuff. It's just that easy. The guy, he's a smart guy. He really is. But, None of it makes sense to me. I mean, you don't go and say when China's one of our biggest competitors that, oh, yes, but it's okay for us to be on TikTok, even though they can surveil every bit of that. You don't say that, no, we shouldn't be helping Israel because we don't have a strategic plan in place. That's ludicrous. I mean, there's just things we just hugely disagree on, everything foreign policy. And I think that that's kind of played out in the last couple of debates. It's nothing personal. It's just more that we don't have policies that we agree on.
We're talking to the great Nikki Haley. Well, I would tell you the one thing about you, Vivek, and policies is if you do wait long enough, you will agree because he's changed a lot of his positions.
Like literally the first debate, he sat there and attacked everybody as being bought and paid for. And then he gets on the stage in the second debate and cites the 11th commandment by Ronald Reagan that we should not talk negatively about each other. That's all you need to know. And it's not just me. The rest of the candidates on the stage are like, you can't be serious right now.
But it's so funny that you say that because we were all watching it and we legit died laughing because we're sitting here and we're like, whoa, whoa, whoa. The minute people came after him, he's like, whoa, I thought we were all friends here. No smack talk. It's crazy.
It's like, are you seriously asking for a redo right now? Is that what you're saying?
Well, listen, I'm glad you had the right playlist for that debate. And I know you got to get to work on the next one, but you're doing great. Keep playing good ball because the truth is, I think more than ever, when you look out at the condition the country is in right now, obviously we need strong leadership, number one. But I do mean this as somebody who hosts a radio show all day, is the ability to communicate and articulate these ideas clearly in terms of why they should matter to every American. I don't think it's ever been more paramount than it is right now. So whatever you guys are doing, just keep playing good ball. That's all I got. I wish I could give you a bigger sweeping, pat on the back on the way out the door, but just don't screw it up, Nikki Haley. How about that?
No, we're not going to. We have a country to save, and I hope your listeners will go to NikkiHaley.com because we're determined to save her.
All right, dang right they will. It's probably the one upstanding website my listeners will actually visit, so thank you for that. You're the best. You have a great day. We'll do it again soon.
Okay, take care, Jimmy. Bye-bye.
There she goes, the great Nikki Haley. Who I do mean this. When I talk to her and I just listen to her answers, they're very concise and specific and factual. And she has such a working grasp of the issues facing the world right now that there are people in the Republican Party, like for real, that get it. Like you could elect her president and go to bed tomorrow and forget who the president was. The country's going to be fine. You've got somebody who's no nonsense in there who completely gets it and is just going to do the job. Okay. That does exist.